Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Welcome back to a patch note breakdown. So this is kind of the first actual patch of the year. Just to also say, because some people may have been confused, where was it yesterday? So weirdly, so when the season started 2 weeks ago, and this patch, they've been delayed one day each, that we're getting the patch on a Thursday. Next patch will be back to normal on a Wednesday, but then the patch after that is back to a Thursday, but then every single patch after should be on the normal Wednesday. Presumably it has something to do with like American holidays. That's usually why. So yeah, let's get into it. So, the first patch of the year 2 weeks ago weren't really changes to champions much. So this is the kind of first round of buffing of nerfing things. And I will say the full nerfs don't surprise me one bit. I am surprised a couple more champions didn't hit the nerf list. Wukong and Viego, I would say 100% should have been. But then also some of the buffs surprised me. So some of these champions obviously are, let's be honest, in League's most hated champion category. They are buffing Evelyn Kane, Master Yi, and Yuumi on the same patch. That's wild. But yeah, so we get nerfs to Cassiopeia, Aurelia, Tam, Kench, and Victor. We're getting buffs to Evelyn, Kane, Malzahar, Master Yi, Smolder, and Yuumi. We're getting system changes to Blood, Rose XP, so that's obviously with Atakhan. Domination Vision Runes, Lord Dom's, Mortal Reminder, Voracious Atakhan, the red one, and the Yuntal item for AD carries. On the new category, we're getting Mel, so the actual new champion that is from Arcane, and we're getting some Mythmaker skins. I will try my best to get a Mel game for you, and I will say on a bit of research, and I actually watched a video of Azaps, because he's been talking directly to the developer that's made her, just to kind of give you a heads up of what the build should be. Apparently this is the build. So it's an Arcane Comet champion in most matchups, Rush Malignance, then Shadow Flame, because they help each other make her ultimate do more damage in the execute, and then Death Cap. And then practically, the remaining items, or you have boots, tier 2 boots. The remaining 2 items are then situational what you need. Do you need a magic pen item? Do you need a burn item? Do you need something like that? So those are the kind of the main core 3 items. Malignance, Shadow Flame, Death Cap. Obviously getting tier 2 boots somewhere around the first item complete as well. So I will try to play her for sure in the upcoming few days. So let's get into it. The first thing it's worth knowing, they are doing a little bit of a LA wildfire relief. Obviously, LA is the home of Riot. If you actually look at the map of where Riot's office is, it's right at the north of the city, really close to where one of the major fires has been. So I'm sure rioters have been affected by this. Even going into the office, they would have had the red sky, smog, smoke everywhere. So and I'm sure some rioters potentially live north of the office and they may not have a house anymore. So they're doing a thing where they are bringing back the firefighter Tristana skin, because obviously the LA Fire Department have been doing their absolute best to try and fight it. And obviously, you've got teams like the LA Rams representing the LA FD as well, which is pretty cool to see as an NFL fan. Queen Pleb's team is the LA Rams. So they are basically saying they're bringing back the skin out of the vault. If you buy the skin, then 100% of the proceeds from that skin from these dates, which is tomorrow until the February 5th, will be going towards basically helping with the recovery, fire department, whatever, of LA. So that's pretty cool. Next up is they are getting rid of something. Sure. Vanguard comes to Mac, so this is something that they did speak about in detail when Vanguard was coming, and people were like, oh, all the cheaters are just going to move to Mac-based systems because you can't run kernel-based software on a Mac because it doesn't have kernel. That's a Windows thing. But they did mention that they are getting Vanguard, and this is it happening. So where there have been some still bots and stuff, one of the predictions that Riot actually made was bot farms would be running on virtual machines for a while on Mac OS, but then the moment that Vanguard goes to Mac, those will not now work. So bot farms should be properly done now. So that's kind of cool. So Blue Essence, obviously it's worth knowing that Riot did a mistake whether it was intended or not. Let's be honest, it was probably intended, in that they basically made Blue Essence near impossible to realistically achieve at a decent frame rate, or frame rate, like rate. So actually the players do that just play the game for free to earn champions. They were massively nerfed. So they are doing somewhat of a revert, but I will say, I think some people have done the math to this, and it's still not as good as what it was before. So it is still a nerf, but that just shows it's still nerfed, but it's getting like increased by 40% from what it was. So that's how bad it was before. So not great to say the least. In-game change number one though. Home guard. So yeah, they introduced home guard for everybody because of the teleport change is what they said. But obviously giving home guard to everybody all the time benefits everybody, especially if you don't even have teleport. So they are nerfing it. So it's going down 1 second, but where you only got home guard if you were standing on the middle of the platform, they are increasing the range that it covers the entire fountain. So you can just stand on the edge and you'll get home guard. So there's that. Feat of strength. Again, hence the name. I pointed this out pretty early, by the way, that feat of strength has a double meaning. And so many people are like, oh, yeah, the 100% they intended. The reason they called it feats of strength is because a feat is like an achievement, but it also is, yes, a different spelling, but it's said the same way of a feat. And what does feat of strength give you? A buff to your boots, to your feet. So it's a double funny meaning kind of thing. So the first blood is gone, which I'm completely fine with, and they have basically gone to grant the team which it receives the first 3 champion kills. Massive W. I actually really like the feat of strength system. I actually think it's really cool. I think it's good for the game. So it's a massive thumbs up from me. I've been enjoying it, but the frustration with it, and I think a lot of people like it, was the first blood. That if you're playing top lane and your bot lane dies, that's one of the 3 gone, and there was nothing you personally could do about it. So yeah, you as a top laner could go try your best to play for tower and try your best to get first tower, but that takes 5 plus, maybe 10 plus minutes to do. It's not an instantaneous thing. The enemy team can also stop you doing it. You know, if you're getting it quite low, the whole enemy team could just go top and kill you a bunch to stop you. But when a first blood happens, well, it's done. Like, it's end of. So that was never satisfying to the enemy team, to the opponent team that didn't have a say in it. Where again, here, yeah, first blood will still matter. It's still going to give the team who gets first blood the benefit. They get the first one potentially out of 3, right? But again, it's that kind of example that, okay, my AD carry died, I'm playing top lane. Right, it's first to 3. Right, I'm going to try and absolutely go ham and kill my opponent 3 times before my AD carry dies 2 more times. It gives you more time, and hopefully, because sometimes, let's be honest, it's kind of been League of Invade recently. A lot of feat of strength has gone to, the first blood one has gone to invades. Invades may still be popular, but at least it's not over after that invade. And if you do lose to it, you can then go, oh, I'll play a bit passive now. Okay, I did die, but at least it's not just taken completely straight away. So I think this is a big, good thing. Atakhan. So okay, so they've changed. Basically, they're changing slightly the rate that we're going to be getting both of them. So in majority of your games, you'll be getting the Atakhan that gives the 25% bonus to buffs. I've only had the red one once, and the red one is the one that gives everybody a GA, kinda. Now basically, when you die, you have a 2-minute timer that you have a free revive that the enemy team kills you, but they do not get kill credit. They get 100 gold, and you just instantly respawn on your fountain. It's a bit weird. Basically, for those that are like, why does that even exist? This one should only realistically happen, and that's what they balanced it towards, and they're changing it a little bit, but they basically balanced it towards a low kill game. So a really boring, this is especially for pro play, by the way, this one will be more seen in pro play than it will solo queue. Hence, again, I have played, how many games have I actually played? On the Huzzy account, I have played 59 games so far this year. You can see it here. Oh, spoiler. I'll blur that out because I don't want to spoil some of the upcoming games. I forgot to kind of like realize I was on that. But anyway, I've played 59 games. You have to take my word for it. And I have had the red one from my memory that I personally have had it once. Maybe the enemy team has had it once or twice. But let's be honest, I've not seen the actual red Atakhan more than 3 times in basically 60 games. So that's not even 5%. So I think there is a world that they increase it. But again, the reason why it exists is because, oh, this is a really slow game. Nothing's happening. Especially in pro play, they basically want to give people the confidence of, you have a free revive. The enemy team don't even get the kill. Go for a crazy play. In the next 2 minutes, go for a crazy play. Go for the play that could end the game. It's just to try and create some excitement. And trust me, this one is for pro play, because pro play, the base of pro play that has been struggling for a while, a lot of players think pro play is boring, myself included. So when most pro games are boring, and this red Atakhan comes out with everybody gets a free revive, the goal is, oh, go for that crazy play, and it might make it more exciting. So yeah, so basically they are making the threshold different. So 20% basically an increased rate that you might see it happen more. Now, I will be honest, even with it changing about 20% and how they're doing points and everything, and you also, by the way, get more gold now for killing them. So instead of giving 100 gold for killing one of these free revives, you get 200. But I'm just saying, like, you'll still fundamentally see the other one way more in solo queue. This one, it realistically will not be seen very much. They are making XP less per rose because they are very strong. But there's that. So there you go. So duo restrictions are being turned back on. I still to this day don't know why they turn off duo restrictions, because like there's duo restrictions in place because they know it can be abused to make people climb at a very fast rate that normally wouldn't be able to climb that fast. So why do you let people do that at the beginning of the year? I do get a bit confused with it, but anyway. All right, so Mel's coming. Very cool champion. Obviously, did I tell you guys what build she should be going? I started doing this video, then Maya barked. So I restarted it. I don't think I did in this recording. So Mel, her build, just to say, I will be making a video on her, hopefully, in the next couple days if I can play her and she's not permanently banned. But she's an Arcane Comet champion in most matchups. And then you want to be rushing, and trust me, this is the best build. Basically, it's from AZAP, who has been in direct communication with the creator of Mel, the dev, and them together have been theory crafting the best build. So her core 3 items that you should be practically going every single game, ignoring tier 2 boots, because obviously Sork boots are a given, but Malignance is actually what you want to be going first, believe it or not. Then Shadow Flame, and then Deathcap. When you get those 3 items with tier 2 boots, she becomes an absolute monster. Her weakness is lane phase. She is ridiculously bad in lane phase, and especially like most melee, you know, she is kind of a typical immobile mage that basically if you're playing anything other than a mage into her, she's going to struggle massively in lane phase. If you play Katarina, she can't stop her roaming, for example. If she's against an Echo, she's going to get all in and she's going to struggle. But if she gets to mid to late game, she's a monster. So kind of like a new Victor, which I guess is kind of ample because obviously Victor's a late game hyper carry from Arcane. She's now a late game hyper carry from Arcane. So yeah. Right, let's get into it. So Cassiopeia is getting a nerf. Hilariously, I've not really seen much Cassiopeia, and she hasn't been banned. I do think a lot of people find her quite boring. And basically she has been overpowered this patch, you know, consistently has had the highest win rate on the patch because of the system, you know, the triumphant boot of winning feat of strength. She doesn't gain any of that advantage because she doesn't buy boots. Her passive, she can't. So Riot gave them her a preemptive buff and it was too much. So she's getting nerfed a little bit to, you know, deal with that. So yeah, the movement speed, I think only, by the way, when she has the feat of strength. She's not being nerfed in any other way, just if her team gets the feat of strength, which, fair enough. Evelyn. Evelyn is among the worst performing assassins after the season start. Good? Like, is that a bad thing? I don't know. Anyway, they're giving her a lot more movement speed, and then her ultimate is going up more damage, so you'll get one shot without being able to react even more. Wonderful. Aurelia. So again, weirdly, Aurelia has also been mega overpowered as well. But once again, I'll say I've not seen many of them. Maybe 2 or 3, and maybe one of them popped off, but that's basically it. So I don't really know what happened with Aurelia, but she's getting basically nerfs across the board. Apart from her Q and her passive, she's getting nerfs to W, E, and R, I think. So her W, minimum damage is going down. So if you just tap it to do like a little bit of range damage, it's going to do less. And the maximum damage of it is also going down quite considerably. That's a 60 damage nerf at rank 5 in base damage. Her E, the damage once again is going down. Just if she lands the actual stun on you, it's going to do less damage. And then the ultimate is going down 100 damage at max rank. So yeah, that's a lot of damage nerfs. Obviously, she, again, like a lot of the strong champions I think are in the game right now, the kind of AD bruisers, you know, technically that's not a category of champion, but back in my day it was. But like Wukong, Viego, Aurelia, they're all very similar, and they all kind of build the same items, and they're all pretty damn strong. So maybe it's the items? I don't know. Next champion, Woo, Kane. So base Kane and red Kane are about where we want him power-wise, but blue Kane isn't performing. Why? It's like Evelyn. Good. Nobody likes being against blue Kane. So they're basically just giving him more damage. Bonus magic damage of his passive is going up in the early game 10%. Okay. Malzahar, updated W pets to now increase damage on level up. Oh, okay. I mean, that's not a massive buff. I did think he doesn't need one. This is more quality of life, I would say. So, yeah, basically his Void Swarm will be doing basically the damage that they should have always been doing for being a pet. They should be leveling up and doing the damage accordingly, and they haven't been. There's that. Master Yi. Master Yi is weak. Good. Again, Master Yi should be weak. A champion this base core fundamental, no mechanics, he should be weak. He should not be strong. They have an obsession with some of these characters. It's mad. So his attack damage growth is going up 0.3 per level to 2.8. That's quite a lot. And then his E is getting 5% more bonus AD. Again, that doesn't do a lot, I will say, because, again, a lot of Master Yi players do not buy a lot of AD. They buy all on-hit items that don't have a lot of AD. So that's actually not going to do that much. So, yeah. Smolder, again, has his issues as a champion, but at least, again, he only is insane when he gets to absolute late game. But what they are doing, which is interesting, is Q now scales to benefit from Infinity Edge. Woo. That could do a crazy amount of damage. So damage scales up to critical strike multiplier based on critical strike chance, allowing Smolder's Q to benefit from Infinity Edge. That's quite big, and his absolute late game damage could be very scary now. Damn. Tam Kench. So one of the tanks being nerfed that people have been waiting for quite a while, but there are others that should be as well. I would say Tam, potentially, yeah. I think it has been the most annoying to most people, because Tam can both be annoying in top, but also support. You know, like a Mundo, a Scion, they can't support, but a Tam can. So I think that's the difference that sets Tam Kench apart. So his damage, or base damage, is going down. And that's it. So it's just base damage. He's still going to be annoying. Yeah, he's still going to be annoying. But they're toning him down a bit. Mr. Victor, again, has been overperforming, it has to be said. So he's just doing a bit too well. So again, these are now 2 nerfs in a row to Victor. So the empowered attack damage bonus is going down in ability power ratio. It's a 10% ability power nerf. That's okay. For a late game hyper carry, I think that he can live with that. What's going to hurt a little bit more, though, because he is so good with his ultimate nowadays, you know, growing in size, the damage per tick, 10% ability power nerf there as well. Yeah, he'll feel that one quite hard, I would say, more for the ultimate, but he's a late game hyper carry. He will still do fundamentally a lot of damage in late game, so don't think that this is going to ruin Victor. It won't. He has just been a little bit above most normal immobile mages, so this is probably bringing him a little bit more in line to most battle mages. So yeah, Parasite, don't care. Lord Dom's total cost is going up by 100, but the armor penetration is getting a buff. So for 100 gold, you're getting 5% more armor pen. I would say that's probably worth, and Mortal Reminder is getting the same stuff. So I would probably say that is a good trade-off. Considering, what is 100 gold? Yes, it's going to delay you from buying the item, but that's roughly like 4 more minion kills. Like 4 minion kills plus the time it takes you to get it with a passive income that everybody gets generally. Yeah, that's 4 minion kills waiting for 5% more armor pen. I'd say that's a good trade-off. Young Tal, it slid in comparison to Collector. I mean, that's just because Collector's too strong. But they are giving it 5 more AD, 10% more attack speed, once again for only 100 more gold. Ooh, that's a really big buff. 2 stats. One is a 10% increase. That's pretty damn strong, I will say. Again, as I said, the same math, roughly 4 minion kills, because if each minion gives you 21, 22 gold, then, let's say it takes you time to base with the random passive gold that you get, like 1 gold per second or whatever, you'll be getting that with just 4 more minion kills. Dang. Runes, Deep Ward, yeah, I'm not really seeing people use this. Maybe because it was just bad. So our new Domination Tree Vision Minor runes have landed a bit soft, while it is largely expected that the average player will get less out of these runes than high MML or pro play, because again, the higher rating you go and pro play, most of the game is won by vision control, by the way. So that's when you see low rating players never buy wards. It's really bad, because how you win games is vision, is information, and information is vision, right? Where people are, why are they there, how many of people are there, who's missing in their lane, are they just waiting in a bush? Well, you know that if you have a ward. So they are yellow trinket duration was 30 seconds to 120 seconds based on average champion level. It's now 45 seconds to 150 seconds based on average champion level. Okay, what does that do? So wait, the duration. Oh, how long the ward lasts. So at the beginning of the game, 30 seconds this is only last? That can't be right. A ward doesn't last 30 seconds, surely. But whatever that means, it's getting better. I don't really know what it is doing. Grizzly Mementos, Trinket Haste for each Memento. Again, I still don't know what this massively does. They're giving... Oh, is this the one that is giving Summoner Spell Haste, I guess? I think this is the one that basically is making Summoner Spells have less cooldown. It's Summoner Spell Haste. So... yeah? I don't know how you get a Memento. Again, in these patch notes, it would be good if it tells you exactly what it is again. But, yeah. And then Sixth Sense. So Sixth Sense is basically, think of it as like a red trinket, but you basically get told where a ward is within a certain amount of range every so often. So the cooldown of it was 300 seconds if you're a melee champion, 360 seconds if you're a ranged champion, so a whole minute more. It's now 275 seconds if you're melee, 350 seconds if you're ranged. Again, the idea, if you're a ranged champion, you can kill wards safer because you're ranged. So it has to be a longer cooldown. So there's that. Fair enough. Still have, again, don't really think I've seen anybody use these three. But maybe with these buffs, people will. Swift play, sorry. I have heard Swift play is pretty good. So it's not really for me. I'm not a normal game player. But the idea, if, you're not playing League at the moment, but for some reason you're watching my patch note video, that would be rare. But Swift play is basically making the normal experience better. It's not the same pace as a ranked game, it's quicker. And if you're playing more casually, you probably don't want a slog 30-40 minute game. You would more want the 20-minute game that you get to late game quicker. So that's what it's actually doing. So it's giving you more bonus gold and all this stuff, more XP. So I've heard it, people have really liked it. So they also, by the way, are changing balance specifically for this mode. So, you know, if you're an absolute casual normal game player, you will actually have different balance. So, you know, when Riot's ethos is we're never having different balance of the game between what Faker plays, you play at home. That's now only true if you're a ranked player, because the balance is now different in normals or Swift play. So I don't think that's a bad thing, though. I've always said it is a different game. ARAM stuff has been changed. All Random Earth, Mythic Shop. Whoa, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, a lot of stuff is leaving as well. Bug fixes, as I've always said, if you see your champion somewhere in here, you should probably read it. And then we have the upcoming stuff. So 3 Honor Shen is the, if you're on a level 5, I believe. If you're on a level 5 lost in split 3, I think, then you can buy 3 Honor Shen. It is worth knowing, I believe. I have something like 7 on a level 5 tokens still on my Huzzy account. I've never used them because I own all the stuff. When they introduced this system, I already owned Grey Warwick and Medieval Twitch, and they were the first 2 rewards, right? So I think if you might be able to just buy this skin if you have those tokens, but I'm not 100% sure. And then yeah, Mel's obviously launch skin is Arcane Counselor. But there we go. That is the patch. Not the biggest patch, but some, I would say, good changes. Again, these 4 nerfs I think is completely fine. I will say I am surprised though, as I mentioned, we're not seeing nerfs to specific other champions, or at the very least some items. Sundered Sky, Eclipse, stuff like that I think is a little bit too strong at the moment. I'd even say Gragas probably needs some nerfs as well. You know, give him higher cooldowns, because basically Gragas has all the benefit from low cooldowns, and he rushes cooldown reduction. So basically, with combining that with Phase Rush, people can't really do much against him in top lane at all. There's no skill involved in trading with him. And by the way, I play Gragas, but I still have this opinion. I'd prefer they nerf him to bring a bit of skill back to the champion, because he's very fun. His combos are great, but he's just too reliable right now, you know? But that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, do throw a like on it. Let me know what you think of the patch, and I will see you guys in the upcoming content. And I will just give you a little bit of a teaser. I had a day off today from streaming just to reset my mental a little bit, but I played 1 ranked game off stream. I practically had the best game that I've had probably in over 6 months, maybe a year. And it was a full game commentary. I recorded it, and that video will be coming out in a couple of days. Yeah, I played Jarvan Jungle, and I absolutely played like, well, you'll see in the video. So look forward to that. But anyway, like it, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Oh, and also, I will be starting a new sponsorship soon. January's been a pretty rough income month. And so yeah, some of the hardcore audience will be like, you know, people can't throw subs themselves, you know, 100% in January. We've just had Christmas, so it all makes sense. But like us do another sponsorship, we can give a bit of time for the rest of the month. So if you do help with those, there'll be another one happening pretty soon. But anyway, peace.